even if Congress hangs on to sanctions, it'll make no difference. In fact, it will be the worst of both worlds, because we'll be cutting out the Europeans will have suspended their sanctions, Iran will be progressing economically, and we will have given Iran an excuse not to honor the agreement, so we'll have no inspections, no control, and nothing. And that strategy administration, regardless of tradition or legality, if he goes to the Security Council, he has utterly defeated the Congress and completely overstepped his own authority.
Yep. So what else is new? Joining us now is Mark Meckler, president of Citizens for Self-Governance and co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots. Mark, welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure. I mean, this is just the latest, obviously, in a long list of what many who are more scholarly and legally centered than I consider to be an abuse of power, running roughshod over the Constitution, unconstitutional acts, breaking the law. But let's focus on this one. I mean, they're telling us, they're letting us know, they're giving us advance warning. Congress will have nothing to do with this agreement, this landmark agreement, which in my view will be signed and will be nothing but capitulation to Iran. Congress will be powerless. I mean, how does Congress sit for that or stand for that?
Well, the reality is, unfortunately, Congress has stood for that for a very long time. Part of this imbalance that we're seeing in the country today, this rise of what I would describe as the imperial presidency, can be directly laid at the feet of Congress. For a very long time, and specifically in regard to international affairs, War Powers Act and things like that, Congress has completely abdicated its responsibility to the president. They do it based on electoral niceties. They'd rather worry about what the electoral issues are than actually exerting their authority to maintain balance between the branches. So what we see here is a balance of power that's fundamentally broke. President Obama is not the first president to abuse this and to grow the presidency. He's merely the worst in a long line.
Well, all right. So how do we, the people, take our country back?
You know, I think we are starting to take our country back, and I'm really pleased by that. We're doing it, first of all, we're doing it via the state elections. We're seeing, you currently have Republicans now in control of a larger majority in state legislatures than any time since the 1920s. Governorships controlled by Republicans with a larger majority since the 20s. Things are working better in the states now than they have in a long time. We're going to see that start to filter its way up. And then ultimately, in my opinion, the only way we can do it is by rebalancing the power, by calling an Article 5 convention for proposing amendments to restrain the tyranny and the growth of the federal government.
Yeah, well, that would take a Congress willing to do these things. I mean, I don't throw the impeachment word around, and I'm saying that he should be impeached or shouldn't, but it's the constitutional duty, not really discretion, but duty. We've had congressman after congressman, including the leadership, saying this president is violating the Constitution, breaking the law, lawless president. Well, if they feel that way, then it's their duty to impeach him, no?
Well, I would say it's their duty to act in some way to prevent his actions, not necessarily impeachment, but certainly it's their duty to prevent what they believe to be unconstitutional actions. They have other means at their disposal which they're not using. The House of Representatives was always intended to be the most powerful branch of government. It is because they have the power of the purse.
Right.
But they're refusing to exercise the power of the purse. So the question you have to ask yourself then, is it the fact that we've got the wrong guys in Congress? Is it the structure? Is it the president? I would argue that we have a structural impediment. We have created structurally an imbalance by 100 years of bad court decisions that allow the president to do pretty much what he wants, Congress to do what they want in derogation of their duties under the Constitution. Only the people can fix that. You said Congress won't fix it. I agree with you. So you have to have a fix that goes around Congress and around the president if you're going to fix these structural problems we're facing.
Yeah, well, very interesting, and it's people like you and the Tea Party and your fine organization that can make it happen, and I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All right, folks, so we're going to come back. It's very important because we do have a Congress, notwithstanding their landslide election results in November, the Republican Party is afraid to use any of the power that's at their hands or at their discretion. They just won't do it. Give Me 5 is next. Don't go away.